Hello again. So today I have a question. Who was Cora McAree and why was her recipe so important? Okay. Today I'd like to tell you about your great-great-grandmother, Cora, who lived in Alba. Pops remembers as a little boy going to Grandma's Cora's house and enjoying her homemade, flat, chewy, crispy biscuits. Yeah, I said that right. Homemade, flat, chewy, crispy biscuits. They weren't the tall, fluffy ones that you usually get, that you usually eat. The family never found her recipe. However, I've tried many, many times in the past 55 years of marriage to Pops to duplicate her biscuit recipe without success. Why would you say has this been a work in progress? Well, because her biscuits were special to Pops and because I love a challenge, okay? Long story short, though, last week, I think I hit the jackpot. Yeah, now mind you, this is November 2021, and we've been married 55 years now. Geez, that's a long time to work on Grandma Cora's recipe. However, Pops is worth it, okay? So I'm going to share that copycat recipe that I came up with. I'm going to share that so you can have it. You may decide you like homemade, flat, chewy, crispy biscuits. Okay. Well, Pops tasted these biscuits, my new creation, and he smiled with delight. Yeah. He said it was almost the same, and I was really, really thrilled. So, at last, my hard work has paid off. Let's get started. I'll share this recipe with you. The first thing I'm going to do is set my oven on 425 degrees to preheat it. After you set your oven on preheat, the next thing you need to do is prepare your cast iron skillet. Now, you don't have to cook in a cast iron skillet. You can use a pizza stone or a sheet pan, a cookie sheet, but your biscuits are probably not going to be as crispy. A cast iron skillet is what I'm pretty sure Granny McAree cooked with, as well as my Mama Stokes. Cast iron skillets make awesome biscuits. So you need to get about a tablespoon of Crisco shortening and put in your pan and then stick it in the oven and let your pan get hot as you mix up the biscuits. I think I'm going to use this other little cast iron skillet. It's about a 10-inch. It's very thin. It doesn't have, I don't know if you can see that, it does not have a thick ridge on it. It's very thin. So that's what I'm going to be using this morning. I want to show you how I measure flour. I just don't reach a cup in and grab it and do like this and bang it down like that. No, I have a certain way that I do it that works out well for me. My biscuits, if I'm making biscuits or bread, if you get too much flour, it's going to be real dense and heavy, okay? So you don't want that. But I take my measuring cup, a 1-cup measuring cup, and I have a large spoon, that's a table service spoon, that you serve vegetables with. I don't know if you can see that. And I dip my spoon into the flour. I get a heaping spoonful. 1 heaping spoonful. 2, 3 heaping spoonful. That is a cup. So then, now I don't bang my cup down to get it all even. I take the flat end of a knife and I just scrape off the top like this and level it out. I don't know if you can see, but that's how I measure flour. Let me show you how I put together Grady McAree's biscuits. You need a bowl, and I've already put 2 cups of flour. You need 1 tablespoon of baking powder. I'm going to add that. 1 tablespoon, that's the big one. 1 tablespoon. You need 2 teaspoons of sugar. That's the next size down. You need a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, but I'm going to make this a heaping spoon. Okay, I use kosher salt. You can use what you want to. And I need a 1/2 teaspoon of cream of tartar. I don't know if you can see that. Now I mix with a large fork, a dinner fork, but it's large, it's a big one. It's like a meat fork. It's bigger than a regular table fork. Now mix this up to get all those ingredients together. Next, you want to take your 1/2 cup of Crisco shortening, put it in your bowl. And just start mixing that around. Now, if you want to, you can use a pastry cutter that makes pie dough to cut in your shortening. That's what it looks like. But you can do that, and you just do this. You may think this is easier. And you get this shortening about pea size. Okay? I don't leave great big chunks of shortening. I just work this around like this. And that's about good enough, probably. Clean that off with my fingers. Then I take my buttermilk, 1 cup of buttermilk. Okay. And I add a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. Now, I have my baking soda in this jar. There's a difference between baking soda and baking powder. Baking soda is usually mixed with like buttermilk to cause your biscuits to rise. You can use both in a recipe. This recipe has both. But you want to add this soda, not in with the dry ingredients. You want to add it to the buttermilk. Okay? Stir it around. Real good. Now, buttermilk is like sour cream in a way, but it's more liquid. It's very, very tart. Mama Stokes used to drink buttermilk and eat saltine crackers for supper. That's what they had for supper. I don't imagine that you would like buttermilk. I don't care for it. So anyway, but it makes your biscuits tender. Pour your buttermilk in. Get it all out. Don't be wasteful. And then just stir around. You see it coming together? You don't want to work it too much, but you do want to get it stirred together. I'm just using my big fork. It's not wet. It's not wet. You can touch it. The thing I'm going to do different this morning, I'm making drop biscuits. Now, Granny McAree would flour the table, pour the dough on it, on top of the flour, put some flour on top of the dough, pat it down, kind of roll it out, and cut biscuits with a cookie cutter. I'm not going to do that. I'm making drop biscuits because this morning I don't have a lot of time, okay? And to me, drop biscuits are just as good, and Pops likes drop biscuits. I took my pan from the oven. It has the shortening that's melted. I'm going to use a scoop. This is a pretty big scoop. I think it's a number 18-8 scoop. It's a restaurant scoop. And I'm just going to scoop in to my biscuits. And I am going to put them, this is just a drop biscuit, just like that. You can hear it sizzle because the pan's hot. Okay? That hot pan will allow it to crisp up pretty good. Okay. Can you see what I'm doing? I have one more scoop I need to get in here. Let me just put that right there. It's a little bit too close. Okay, and then I'm going to take my fingers and I'm going to press them in some flour, and I'm just going to press these down flat like this. Okay? You're going to fill your pan up. See how I'm pressing them down? There you go. Now, I'll put them back in the oven. And I'm going to cook them probably for 20 minutes, if that long. They need to be real brown when you take them out. And it's at 425 degrees. Okay, here we go. I'll get back with you later. They're out of the oven. You see those? They're kind of large. I think next time I'll use a smaller scoop. I'll have to try this out to see what it tastes like. Ow, don't burn yourself. Real crispy on the bottom. So, we'll see. The next time, I think I'm going to use a smaller scoop. And I'm going to use my pizza stone. I have a great big pizza stone. I'm going to spread them out on my pizza stone. But this ought to taste really good. I hope Pops likes them. Hope you try them, and I hope you like them also. Love you to the moon and back, never stopping. Hi, Pops.
Good morning.
Pops just came in, and he's kind of hungry, so he's going to try these biscuits to see what he thinks.
Smell good. Crispy looking. Crispy.
Are they like Granny McAree's?
They taste like them. They're not real chewy, but boy, they're buttery. They're good.
You like them?
Yeah.
Are they too big?
No.
You like them
Those
that
are
big?
big and flat now.
Is that flat enough?
Hers are flatter. Really.
Yeah.
Those are flat.
The
They're
first
good.
batch I made was really flat. Those have more lift to them.
These are good.
Thank you, Pops.
Thank you.
Okay, kids. Love you to the moon and back. Never
Bye-bye.
stopping.
Love you.